I wanted to go over some of the things I've noted with your project. There were quite a few things that were incorrect, and sending you this file back with my notes may not be helpful. I'm hoping if I go through each one of these entries that you will be able to see better and be able to make the corrections. This entry here that we're looking at, it says supplies expense. First of all, whenever you're buying something like an asset, it's not an expense to you until it's used. The moment you purchase it, it's an asset. So you should not be debiting on an expense. It has to be used. Number two, you did not pay for this with cash. In fact, you actually purchased it on credit. So this account here is incorrect. Here, unearned fees. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but unearned fees is, first of all, not a part of the chart of accounts given to you. Secondly, you're not earning money, and you're actually receiving money because of a loan that you've taken out. This seems to be a loan and not unearned fees. So I'm not sure why that account was used. If you look at the chart of accounts here, you need to use any of the accounts that are located on this chart of accounts and nothing else. We made it very clear in the instructions. Do not use accounts that are not listed in this chart of accounts. This account does not exist, so you need to remove it. It's a loan that you're paying, that you have to pay back. Here, it's not a complete entry because you paid $3,000. And so there's missing a transaction here. You need to fix that and then correct this here. Insurance expense. I'm not sure where insurance expense came from with this because you're not purchasing insurance at all. In fact, what you're purchasing is some sort of a supplies that you might want to advertising or something like that, but not insurance. So please go back to look at the transaction itself to see what's going on. Secondly, miscellaneous expenses. That looks okay. You're not purchasing the supplies here. You're purchasing equipment in exchange for stock. So you need to change that. Again, supplies expense, you really need to go back and take a look at the transaction that you're trying to record, because I believe that's incorrect. You're not expensing anything. You're either purchasing an asset or, purchasing an asset of supplies, maybe. Office supplies could be. Here, utilities expense, again, this is not on the chart of accounts, not at all. If you look here, you see all sorts of accounts, but not insurance, utilities. So that needs to be removed. If my memory serves, this is for telephone. So if you see something that relates to telephone expense, that would more likely be correct, but not utilities. Here, you're purchasing insurance, but you're paying for it in advance of it being, you can use it. So that's a prepaid to me. So here you have to make a change. There are a number of changes that you need to make in these transactions. And my suggestion is to reach out to me and ask questions, because I'm just seeing out of all the transactions, most of them are incorrect. So I'm thinking you're just not understanding what you need to do, and you're not reaching out for me for help. Here, the salary is paid. You've already recorded the salary here, you supposedly. Here is only the payment. So you've accrued the liability for a salary here, not paying it in cash. Here is where you pay it. So you need to change that. And this entry here, although it's correct in theory, it's in reverse. You receive cash from your client, but you should be reducing the amount that you should expect back from them, that receivable. So that entry is in reverse. The amount's fine. Again, same thing with the problem here. You've already accrued the telephone expense, and so you shouldn't be expensing it again. You should remove the liability from your books. Here it looks like you're paying for supplies. You're not expensing supplies because you haven't used them yet. It's an asset to you, so you need to change that. And here, I'm not sure what you were trying to put here. If this particular account is going to be purchasing supplies on account, then you need to set up a liability. So you need to fix that. And in this entry here, you are accruing for salaries, not paying it. So cash is not appropriate in this case. This entry looks good. This entry, again, is in reverse. You're not going to increase your asset called accounts receivable. You're going to decrease it and increase your cash. Same with this problem here. You're not recording supplies expense at all. You're not using expense. You're not using the asset at all. So you need to record an asset. Then you have to record the use of it at some point. Here, it's the same thing. You've already accrued for your salaries on the 15th. You need to pay it on the 20th. So you're not going to record the expense again. You're going to be recording a removal of the obligation. And same here, supplies expense is incorrect. You have to use the supplies in order for it to be an expense. So these entries that you've made, I've discovered errors on are repeated, but it seems like just you're not understanding exactly what's occurring, what type of transaction is occurring. That's what I'm seeing here, because their mistakes are being repeated. I'm just going to highlight them here. My suggestion, I highly recommend you reach out to me or some tutoring, because some of these entries here just gives me the impression that you don't grasp exactly how what the transaction is and how to reflect it in a journal entry form. If this entry is saying you paid for something, you should never be increasing your cash. You should be decreasing your cash. Or if it says you purchased supplies, you'd have to record the asset, because that's an asset to you. Supplies are something that you own that you can use for your business. You don't want to record an expense because you have yet to use them. You just purchased them. So those kind of rules and those kinds of thinking requires a little bit more understanding. So maybe it might be best to go back and take a look at your chapters, particularly the chapters that review accrual-based accounting and what are the rules for recording transactions. When you record an expense, you record an expense when you've incurred it. You record revenue when it's earned, and those kinds of concepts that I think might be missing in your understanding, which may very well explain some of the errors that I'm seeing here. I'm going to send this video to you and the email, a copy of the video, so that you can take a look at it and listen to it and look at what I'm identifying as errors and why I think that they're errors. You may very well be able to go back in your textbook, and it helps you solidify exactly what I'm trying to communicate with you. But these entries here are a number of them, many of them repeated errors, but the bottom line is it just seems as if you're not understanding the concepts of recognition, of expense recognition, of recording an asset and recording obligations or accruals. So I'll be here to help you any way that I can. Just reach out to me. If you need to sit down with a tutor, by all means do so. This course is a little bit more intense than usual, and it does require a lot more time with these entries. But I think if you put in the time and you ask some questions, you may very well get through this particular project with an A. I really believe that. I just want you to know these are the things that you will have to fix in order to help you attain that excellent grade. Again, reach out. I'm here to help you in any way I can, and let you know you can send the file to me once you make these corrections, and I will confirm if they're right or wrong. Thank you.